All right, so today I'm working on this 2006 Ford F150 with a customer complaint of a misfire, and you can definitely feel it when you're running the vehicle. The problem is there's no codes, there's no anything pointing to what cylinder might be causing this. So for today's video, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the crankshaft position sensor and some math channels to figure out which cylinder is causing your misfire. So the first thing I've got here is I've got Pro Demand pulled up, and I'm looking for that crankshaft position sensor right there. It's a 2-wire, so we're expecting an analog waveform out of that. It's a little hard to get to, so I'm actually going to go into the PCM right here because it's really easy to get to on this vehicle. So when you're tracking these wires back, you can see they go onto the next page, and then right there, crank sensor negative, crank sensor positive, the gray and the dark blue wires right there. So we're going to tee into the back of the PCM, and you can see I've already done that right here. So that gray and dark blue wire just tucked right in there, and I've got my T-pins in there. Make sure your T-pins don't touch. I've bent this one kind of away. Don't want to short out the computer in any way. So that is on channel A of our Picoscope. And then on channel B, we have plugged in the coil over plug probe from Picoscope, and we are going to place this over the coil pack for cylinder 1 so we can get a sync signal. So I'm going to go ahead and take this waveform, and then we'll come back and analyze what's going on. I'll show you how to set up the math channels to find which cylinder is misfiring. Okay, so we got our waveform captured on that F150, and I forgot to show you my setup on that, so we'll go through that really quick. On channel A, we were just using the ×1 probe, normal voltage leads on that, and we are plus or minus 20 volts on our range. On channel B, we chose the coil on plug probe, and we're going to be plus or minus 5 volts with that. And then I selected 5 seconds per division, and you can see that's what we got. So before we do any math channels, let's go ahead and zoom in just to see what it looks like. And as we were expecting, we got this nice analog waveform. So you could count the teeth on this, which would represent each of the teeth on the reluctor that the crankshaft position sensor is reading. And there are 35 teeth plus this missing space. So pretty much like 36 teeth spaces on the reluctor. And then on channel B, you can see the spark event right there. And then it repeats right there, and we're getting a little noise probably from the coil next to it right there in between. Okay, so this waveform by itself is not very useful for finding a misfire, so that is why we are going to add a math channel. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to show you 2 different math channels on this. So the first one will be frequency for channel A, and it defaults to some preset settings. So if I zoom in on this, it's probably not going to be super useful in the settings that it goes to. And so, yeah, I mean, I see something for sure, but I want detail when it comes to that frequency. So I'm going to edit that math channel by coming down here. Make sure you're checked on that, and then click edit. We're going to click next. And then notice the range is from 0 hertz to like 2000 hertz. So we need to pick something that hones right in on that wave. So I'm going to pick something like, let's try 800 hertz to start on the low side. And then on the high side, let's try like 1500. Or let's see, I gotta change that. It's like 1.5 thousand hertz. Okay. And you can see it's not even like registering. It's off on the bottom of the screen down here. So our high end needs to be a lot lower, and our low end needs to go a little bit lower on that. So let's edit that again. Let's try 1.2 on the top, and on the bottom, let's try 600 hertz. Takes a minute to update. Okay, we're getting closer now. let's zoom in and let's see what more fine tuning we can get. Okay, so I'm not really worried about these dropouts down here. That's not really what I'm trying to look at. I'm trying to look at these. So notice we're actually around like 0.78 thousand hertz down to like maybe 0.66. So if we edit that one more time, I think we'll be able to see what we're wanting. So 0.78 on the high and 0.66. Close that, let it update. Okay, now we're getting what we want. Okay, so you can notice that the frequency's higher when we were first starting that truck, and then it kind of settles down. We're going to focus in on this area right here. So let's zoom in. And this black waveform that we've captured here is the frequency of the crankshaft. So ultimately what we're trying to achieve is a pretty consistent frequency, and so each cylinder as it fires should be contributing to about the same rotational speed. But notice that we kind of, we look good here, but for some reason when certain cylinder fires, the frequency kind of drops off. That is the misfire that we're trying to locate. Okay, and I think I'm going to zoom in one more time. I'm going to change my range one more time to make it just a little bit better. I think I'm going to go 750 on the high side and 700 on the low side, and then we'll get a little bit more detail. Right. So 750 and 700. This will just make it a little bit better to see that frequency change. Okay, now I think we have everything we need. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to zoom in, and we're trying to capture 2 rotations of the crankshaft so that we're seeing all 8 cylinders fire. So there is that cylinder number 1 spark. I'm going to drag that down so you can see that a little bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our phase rulers here, and we're going to drag our first phase ruler to the first time we see cylinder 1 fire right there, and then we're going to drag our second one to the next time we see that one fire, which is right there. Okay, you need to make sure you have 8 partitions because this is a V8. So every time we see one of these lines represents one of the cylinders firing. So the firing order on this is 1, 3, 7, 2, and then I think it's, I don't remember the end of it, 6, 5, 4, 8, I think. But what I'm focused on is right here where it drops off, right? The frequency was pretty consistent here, and then all of a sudden this cylinder fired and it just fell off. So that is cylinder number 2. And so that is the one that we are going to go after to figure out if we have, if that's our misfire. Okay, and notice it repeats, like the next cycle we have the same problem. So why is the computer not picking this up and setting a code? I'm not sure, but we definitely have a cylinder 2 misfire. Now notice this little dropout. I told you we don't need to worry about this right now. That's just because that one spacing on the reluctor, it loses that frequency signal for a second and then it catches back up. If you don't want to see that, I'm going to show you one other math channel you could use. Notice that Picoscope 7 has these crank math channels, and I already told you we had 35 teeth with a missing space, so that's a 36. So I'm going to click on that one, and this one, instead of giving us a frequency, is going to give us an RPM, and we're going to have to do the same thing and kind of hone in on what that RPM is. And if I recall, when we were idling, it was kind of high, so I think it was around like 1200 RPMs, so we'll try that. And then on the low side, we'll just do like 1000 RPM. Let's see what we get. Okay, it looks like it's up on the top of our screens. We're gonna edit that one more time. We're too low. Let's try. Let's try 1.4 on the high and 1.1 on the low. Okay, that's looking better. So I'm going to zoom in on that same section that we were pulling out our phase rulers on, so you can see the RPMs doing the same thing. And we could fine tune the settings, so we could go, looks like we could go to like 1.28 on the high, 1.1 or 1.15 on the low, something like that. And we'd be able to see more definition. But just doing what we did right there, you can see in the same location, the RPM kind of falls off and it doesn't have that dropout right there. So you could choose either one of those and use that to solve this problem. So we are going to go after diagnosing this cylinder number 2, and I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, so we finished diagnosing that F150. It was definitely cylinder number 2. As soon as we started testing for spark, we found a bad coil on cylinder number 2, so we replaced that. It was pretty fast. And so I took an after waveform so you can see the difference, and I already did all the math channels and stuff. I just focused on the crank rather than the frequency. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this one. First thing to notice is the RPM is significantly different. Before it was struggling to run and RPM was pretty high around, I think it was like 1200, I believe. And now we're idling back down in like the 700 range, which is more what we expect. So we'll zoom in. We've got the phase rulers already pulled out. Now, initially you look at this and you're like, well, that doesn't look consistent like we had before, but you got to remember the crank is rotating a little bit slower now because the RPM is different. And so we're not getting as quick of peaks between cylinders, so you kind of have more dropouts between. So when I look at this, I kind of think in my mind, like if I drew a trend line across this between all 8 cylinders, is it trending in a straight, or is it trending up, or is it trending down? In our other waveform, every time cylinder 2 fired, like it definitely trended downward. On this one, you know, not every cylinder looks like it's contributing the exact same, but overall the trend is straight on. The frequency, the RPM is staying pretty consistent, and that's what we want. So that cylinder 2, remember our firing order is 1, 3, 7, 2. So when that cylinder 2 fires, like right after, it's not perfect, but it's keeping in trend with the other cylinders, and there is no more shaking that we're feeling in the truck. Everything seems to be running good. Power is restored. Idle is better. So anyways, that was a really quick way to diagnose a misfire when you don't have a code, and so hopefully that helps somebody out there. Thanks for listening.